Chapter 17. The Rogue Squirtle. Finally, civilization, Misty cried. After a whole month of traveling in the woods with only a couple of small villages along the way, the group had finally arrived in Vermilion City. Needless to say, Ash was very eager to obtain his third gym badge at the Vermilion gym from here. While there wasn't a battle chateau for Serena to take part of here, she would still be training, and was always happy to support Ash in his gym battles. Yes! The first order of business is getting my third badge! Ash declared while pointing to the sky, Pikachu following his gesture. Hold on, Ash. We've been away from the city for a month. Can't we at least rest and enjoy the city for once? The gym will still be there tomorrow, Misty said in an annoyed tone. I'm going to agree with Misty on this one, Ash. Vermilion City is on the beach after all. Let's relax and enjoy the ocean. And the beautiful girls. Brock finished while turning red. Ash turned to Serena. How do you feel about all this, Serena? Serena smiled that Ash was including her by asking her opinion as well. Well, being on the beach would really be nice, she said while blushing. Ash sighed but then smiled. Alright, you guys win. Last one to the beach is a rotten egg, he shouted as he and Pikachu took off running. No fair, Misty yelled as she and the others followed him. While the group was running through the busy streets of Vermilion City, they realized that it would probably be faster to take a shortcut. They spotted an alleyway off to the side and decided to cut through there. This alleyway is kind of dark and spooky, Misty commented as they made their way through it. Come on, Misty, you aren't afraid, are you? The worst thing that's gonna happen is there's gonna be a Rattata or a Meowth in a trash can. It's nothing we haven't seen before, Ash told her. But what about muggers? Misty asked worriedly. We have our Pokemon, Misty, Brock answered this time. We'll be fine. The group then turned a corner in the alleyway and was surprised at what they saw. It was a Squirtle that was spray painting various graffiti on the alley walls. This Squirtle seemed a little different than the ones that the group saw in the past. It had a mischievous smirk on its face and was wearing sunglasses. The Squirtle clearly knew it was doing wrong. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Ash asked it in surprise. The Squirtle turned and gave the group a questioning look. Who did they think they were by telling it what to do? It didn't trust humans at all after being abandoned by its trainer. It believed it had every right to vandalize their property after what it went through. You can't just go spray painting anywhere you please, Ash continued. The Squirtle didn't listen, however, and sprayed Ash right in the face with a water gun attack. It then laughed when it saw Ash's wet state. Ash was drenched and got an angry expression on his face. Hey, what'd you do that for? He asked angrily. Pikachu then jumped in front of Squirtle and gave it an angry expression as well, ready to protect its trainer if necessary. Pikachu and the Squirtle continued to glare at each other in a standoff before the group heard sirens blaring. As soon as the Squirtle heard the sirens, it got a panicked expression on its face and took off, leaving the can of spray paint behind. Serena went over to pick up the can of spray paint to throw it away, just as Officer Jenny turned the corner on her motorcycle. Hold it! Officer Jenny ordered. We've had reports of someone vandalizing the buildings in this city. It seems I've caught the culprits red-handed. You're even still holding the spray paint can. Serena saw she was holding the can of spray paint and immediately threw it away while turning red. I didn't do this, she cried in alarm. Officer Jenny gave her a hard glare. Don't lie to a police officer, young lady. We're telling you the truth, Officer Jenny, Ash tried to defend. It was a Squirtle that did this. We were just passing through this alley on the way to the beach. It ran away when it heard your sirens. Officer Jenny seemed to be in thought. Was this Squirtle wearing a pair of sunglasses? She asked. It was actually, Ash confirmed. Do you know anything about it? Everyone in Vermilion City knows about that Squirtle. It was abandoned by its trainer a while back. It was so upset by how the person just threw it out like that, so it has no respect at all for the people or their property. All it ever wants to do is play pranks on people or steal things, Officer Jenny told them. Why doesn't the gym leader of the city do anything about it? Serena asked. The gym leader prefers not to worry himself with things like this. Personally, he isn't worried about a rogue Squirtle in the city despite it terrorizing everyone, said Officer Jenny. He sounds lazy if you ask me, Misty muttered. Oh, he actually isn't lazy at all. He's an army lieutenant and a war hero. His name is Lieutenant Surge. With all the wars and battle he has seen in his lifetime, he considers handling a rogue Squirtle beneath him, Officer Jenny explained. Oh, I see. Misty realized. Since Lieutenant Surge doesn't want to get involved, it's up to the Vermilion City Police Force. But that Squirtle is so evasive, we aren't able to ever catch it. It's always gone by the time we arrive on the scene, Officer Jenny said. She then got a sad look on her face. I think deep down, all that Squirtle really wants is a loving trainer. Officer Jenny then got on her motorcycle and turned towards the group. I'm sorry I'm accusing you guys. The only advice I can offer is to try to stay clear of that Squirtle while you're in Vermilion City. She then drove off down the alley and turned a corner, disappearing from view. The group stared at the beautiful beach in front of them. They could even see the enormous ship, the St. Anne, at the harbor in the distance. It had been a really long time since either of them had been to the beach. Vermilion City was known for its awesome beaches, and if the clean, sparkling waters were any indication, it was true. The group found a nearby beach house and changed into their swimsuits there. Then they were ready to have some fun. Hey, why should we be the only ones to have fun? Let's send out our Pokemon also, Ash suggested. Great idea, Ash, Serena agreed. The group then sent out their Pokemon and everyone went off to do their various activities. Ash and Misty immediately went towards the water to swim there. Misty brought out a towel and laid it underneath an umbrella to take a nice nap. And Brock began to look at all the pretty girls in swimsuits. Discreetly, of course. It was then Brock was confronted by two Gongoro girls. Like, congratulations! You've won 4 tickets to the party at the SSN cruise ship, one said excitedly. I want a cruise? Brock asked skeptically. Not the cruise itself, but you're still invited to come to the party before it departs. It's gonna be so cool. The other one answered while jumping up and down. How did I win? I don't remember entering a drawing for anything, Brock asked in a confused tone. Like, we're just giving away tickets to awesome Pokemon trainers such as yourselves, the first one exclaimed. Cool, the second one added. In that case, I'll take them. Thank you, Brock said appreciatively. The party starts in an hour. See you there, the first one giddily said. Cool, the second one yelled again. Wait until I tell the others about this, Brock smiled to himself. Serena was swimming through the water right now and having a blast. The weather was perfect right now. There wasn't a cloud in the sky and the temperature was just right. She was about to turn towards Ash to ask him something, but he had disappeared. Ash? Serena asked, but there was no response. She began looking in all directions around her, but didn't find him. Ash! Serena called again, but then felt something grab her ankle. Serena let out a shriek, and the culprit revealed itself to be none other than Ash, who was laughing. That was great, Ash said while laughing. Serena got a mock angry look in her face. Hey, I was starting to get worried about you, and then you go out and pull something like that. You're gonna get it, Ash Ketchum. Well, you're gonna have to catch me first, Ash teased. Serena then leaped at Ash, which knocked him back under the water. They then began to play wrestle each other in the water. They took turns dunking and splashing each other and occasionally tackling each other. Before either of them knew it, they had their arms around each other in a tight bear hug, trying to throw the other underwater first. That's when Ash realized the position they were in. Serena? Ash questioned, but she didn't move from the embrace. Serena, are you gonna let me go? Ash asked again. He was becoming pretty embarrassed. If he didn't know better, he could have sworn he heard Serena give a sigh of disappointment before letting go. Are you ready to head back to the shore? There seems to be a nice game of volleyball going on there. Maybe we can jump in, Serena suggested. Sure. Ash agreed, wondering what the sudden change in her attitude was about. It was then they felt movement below the water's surface, and to their surprise, a Squirtle with sunglasses popped its head out of the water. Whoa, I think it's that Squirtle from earlier, Ash realized. The Squirtle gave a smirk before shooting its water gun in Ash's face again. How was it that he always seemed to get the water gun? Ash was already wet, so it didn't bother him like last time, but that didn't change the fact that Squirtle was trying to aggravate him. You seem to be asking for a battle, Ash said angrily to it. The Squirtle ignored that threat and water gunned Ash's face again. Now he was getting pretty annoyed. If you're so cocky, I dare you to face me in a Pokemon battle. Meet me up at the shoreline, and then we'll see how tough you are, Ash shouted. The Squirtle rolled its eyes from behind its sunglasses and began to swim back towards the shoreline. Ash and Serena followed it. As they approached the shore, they spotted Brock. who was waving his arms frantically at them, signaling them to come over. He looked really excited. "Hey guys!" he called out once they reached him. "I just won 4 tickets to the party that's going to be taking place on the St. Anne in an hour. I mean, they aren't tickets for the cruise, but we can still attend the party." "When and where did you enter a drawing for a party?" Serena asked him curiously. "I received it from those 2 Gongoro girls over there," he said, pointing behind him. But there was nobody there. That's strange. Where did they go?" Brock wondered. "Well, I guess it doesn't matter. If you won, you won. I say we don't let these tickets go to waste," Ash said. "All right, let's go get Misty and our Pokemon and have some fun at the party," Brock cheered. "Oh, right, the Squirtle," Ash remembered. He looked around, but it had already disappeared. "Whoa, this ship is even bigger up close," Serena exclaimed amazed. "Brock, are you positive that this is the ship you won tickets to?" Ash asked, equally amazed. "I'm positive. I guess I just got really lucky," Brock told them. He then got a dreamy expression on his face. "I hope there are a lot of pretty girls on board." The group rolled their eyes at that remark. "I can't wait to get on the cruise liner. I bet it's so beautiful. I wonder if there's going to be a dance at the party," Serena said while her eyes sparkled. She could picture it now. She and Ash are dancing together to a slow song. It would be entirely romantic. Ash would pull her gently a little closer to him. There would be a beautiful sunset on the deck of the ship. They would then lean closer, then even closer. Their lips would only be inches apart. And then, "Serena, are you coming or not?" Ash called out to her. Serena snapped out of her thoughts and saw the group was already some distance ahead of her. Coming," she said as she ran to catch up with them. Meanwhile, the 2 Gongoro girls had walked into a nearby warehouse where a large computer was at the edge of the room. They then changed out of their clothes and into their regular white uniforms. It was Team Rocket. "So, were all the tickets given away?" Meowth asked as he stepped out of his hiding place. "They were," Jessie answered. "You aren't going to believe who we gave away those 4 tickets to. It was that squinty-eyed friend of the twerp with the Pikachu. He will undoubtedly share it with the others. This is our perfect chance for revenge against them, once and for all." "Sounds good to Meowth," Meowth agreed. "Let's go ahead and report to the boss," James said as he pressed a button in front of the computer. The large screen turned on and a man cast in shadows appeared. It was hard to make out his face, but he seemed to be wearing an orange suit. He was sitting behind a large desk and had a Persian next to him. "Is the plan set?" the man asked. His voice was very deep and dark sounding. "It is, sir. We've given away all the tickets as you requested," Jessie replied. "Excellent. You 3 have failed me the last few times at Mount Moon and the Pokemon Center in Viridian City. Hopefully this time, you'll be able to come through," the boss said. "But boss, the only reason we failed at the missions was because of this brat who carries around a Pikachu and his friends," James complained. He immediately realized that this was not the right thing to say. "You idiots! You're telling me you're letting my plans be foiled by a bunch of children? Are you that incompetent? Do I have to threaten to demote you to grunts to motivate you?" The voice shouted as he slammed his fist on the desk. "Way to go, Jimmy," Meowth muttered. Trying to make up for James's mistake, Jessie spoke up. "Sir, we won't fail you again. All of the rocket grunts are in place on the ship. Failure will be out of the question." "It better be. I will not accept failure for much longer. If you can't complete my missions, I will simply find someone else who can. Perhaps Cassidy and Butch can handle the missions better," the Dark Man said. "No, anyone but them," Jessie said frantically. She, James, and Meowth hated those 2 with a passion. "Then make sure this mission doesn't fail," the boss yelled again. "Aye, aye, sir," the trio saluted. With that, the screen was turned off. "Wow, with how fancily everyone is dressed right now, I kind of feel out of place in my normal clothes right now," Ash commented as they looked around the ship. "So, Brock, was this just supposed to be a Pokemon trainer party? Are there going to be things like dances and a bunch of food? All I see are people standing around talking to each other showing off their Pokemon," Misty stated. "You know what? I'm not entirely sure. Those 2 girls didn't give me a lot of details about the party. They just told me it was for Pokemon trainers only," Brock answered. "Then what are we supposed to do here? I mean, there are some tables with food, but that's it," Serena sighed. She was slightly disappointed that there didn't appear to be some sort of special event that was going to take place. Psst! Hey, you four, over there! A man whispered in a foreign accent. The group turned to see a short man with a thin mustache and short brown hair. He was wearing a white button shirt and what looked like a white headband. Next to him in a fish tank was a medium-sized fish with heavy reddish-orange scales. It had vacant eyes and long tan barbels. Have I got the deal for you? The man continued once the group went over to him. I'll let you have this swell Magikarp for just $30. Did you know that a Magikarp lays 1,000,000 eggs at a time? Each of those 1,000,000 Magikarp lays 1,000,000 more eggs. If you sell each of those Magikarp, you will have tons of money. The group gave the man a deadpan expression. They knew that everything he was telling them was completely bogus. He must be a con man. Ash was about to refuse, but to his surprise, Misty spoke up. I'll take it, she exclaimed. What? Everyone else asked her in surprise. It's because a Magikarp evolves into a Gyarados, Misty explained. You see, I'm training to be the best water-type Pokemon trainer. I have to be able to master all of them, even the frightening Gyarados. Why not just fish for a Magikarp in a nearby lake? This isn't exactly a rare Pokemon we're talking about, Ash wondered. It's because I have a fear of Gyarados. They really scare me, which always deters me from fishing for one. If I pass up this opportunity, I may never get the motivation again to get one, Misty said. If you say so, Ash sighed. Misty turned back to the salesman. All right, I'll take it for $30 even, she declared. I can tell you are going to be a very rich girl. The man laughed as he picked up the Magikarp from the tank and put it in a Pokeball. Cut the garbage, will ya? I'm not doing this to become rich. Misty told him as she took the Pokeball and handed him $30. Yes, well, thank you for buying, and I don't give refunds, the man said hurriedly as he packed up and sped away. That's fine. The $30 will be worth it once this Magikarp becomes a Gyarados, Misty said as she and the group walked away. They then heard a commotion coming from the food tables. They ran over to see what was going on and saw the Squirtle with sunglasses on top of one of the tables. It was throwing food at everyone around it. How did that Squirtle sneak onto the ship undetected? Hey you, what do you think you're doing? Ash asked angrily. The Squirtle turned towards Ash and gave a smirk again. It then began to throw food at only Ash. Did that thing have some kind of vendetta against him? Pikachu snickered once it saw Ash had food thrown in his face. But then Squirtle threw some at its face also. Pikachu then got an angry expression and sparked its cheeks. I'll show you, Ash yelled as he lunged for it. The Squirtle jumped out of the way and took off out of the room and down one of the hallways. You aren't gonna get away from me this time, Ash shouted as he and Pikachu ran after it. Wait up, Ash, Serena called as she followed. Should we go with them? Misty asked Brock. Brock shook his head. Nah, they'll be back in a bit. I say we just wait here. Meanwhile, Jesse, James, and Meowth, who were disguised as staff members, received a beep on a device kept on their belts. They gave a smirk to each other. That was their signal. It was time to carry out the plan to steal everyone's Pokemon on the ship. The trio then threw off their uniforms to reveal their traditional Team Rocket uniform and jumped into the middle of the main room where everyone was gathered. The other disguised Rocket members threw off their uniforms as well and closed off all the doors that led out of the room to prevent escape. Jesse, James, and Meowth then began to recite their motto. To protect the world from devastation. To unite all people within our nation. To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse and James. Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight. Meow, that's right! It's Team Rocket, Misty and Brock gasped. And now, we shall proceed to steal all of your Pokemon, Jessie announced as she and all the other Rocket members pulled out vacuums. Not everyone had been captured inside the room, however. Ash, Pikachu, and Serena were still chasing the Squirtle down the hallway. It had finally reached a dead end, and the Squirtle stopped and turned around to face Ash, Serena, and Pikachu. It was ready to battle if necessary. What is with you? Ash yelled at Squirtle once they cornered it. The Squirtle grimaced and water-gunned Ash's face again. Ash was about to shout again, but Serena put her hand on his shoulder to comfort him. Relax, Ash. Shouting at Squirtle isn't going to do any good. You're better than this, she told him. Ash realized she was right and took a deep breath. He then walked up slowly to Squirtle and knelt down to be eye level with it. The Squirtle took a step back and made a defensive stance. Hey Squirtle, I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to keep playing mean pranks on people. I'm sure you're destined for greater things than this, Ash said. Squirtle didn't say anything in response and continued to give Ash a hard stare. Taking that as a good sign to continue, Ash went on. I know it probably hurts that you were abandoned by your trainer, but that doesn't mean all humans are like that. The Squirtle frowned and turned away from Ash. It didn't believe him. Ash sighed. If you don't believe me, then perhaps you will believe fellow Pokemon. I just happen to have a Charmander with me that was abandoned by its trainer. My Pikachu also has had rough instances with people in the past. He tried. This got Squirtle's attention. It then turned around, getting a curious expression on its face. It's true. They can tell you themselves. Ash told Squirtle as he sent out his Charmander. Pikachu and Charmander then went over with Squirtle and began to talk to it. Ash and Serena watched the Pokemon converse and were wondering what they were saying, but they could get a good idea by the expressions and gestures the Pokemon were making. Finally, Squirtle turned towards Ash and got a guilty expression on its face. Squirtle, squirt, it said apologetically. It's okay, Squirtle. I just want you to know that I know there's a trainer out there who will take great care of you one day. You'll be just fine. I promise, Ash said. That was well done, Ash, Serena smiled. It was Pikachu and Charmander who did most of the talking. Ash replied while gesturing to them. He then returned the Squirtle. What do you say we return to the party and have fun? The Squirtle seemed to think for a moment before nodding. Squirtle, it replied. Once Ash, Serena, Pikachu, and Squirtle made it back to the doorway that led to the main hall, they found it locked. That's weird. Ash said more to himself than the others as he began to yank on the door, trying to get it open. It was then they heard what sounded like a lot of commotion going on inside, but could pick up what some voices were saying. Alright, Team Rocket has taken over the ship. Hand over all your Pokemon right now if you don't want to get hurt, they heard one say. And don't even think about calling the police to come help, another voice said. We've rigged the ship with the bomb that's in the engine room. The second any of you try to get help, we'll blow the ship to pieces with all of you still on board. Ash heard a collective gasp through the doors. He then turned to Serena. This looks bad with Team Rocket here. It looks like we're the only ones who weren't captured. We've got to save these people, but our first priority should be locating the bomb to disarm it. Right. I built a model of the ship once, so I know the blueprints. I can lead us to the engine room. Serena agreed as she, Ash, and Pikachu took off down the hallway as fast as they could. They then heard footsteps behind them and noticed that the Squirtle was following as well. You want to help, Squirtle? Ash asked. Squirtle, it replied while nodding its head. Thanks, let's go, Ash said as the four resumed running towards the engine room. As the group was making their way to the engine room, they rounded a corner and were met by two rocket grunts guarding the passageway. They attempted to hide, but the rocket grunts were too quick for them. Hey, someone broke loose from the main room. I'll call for help and you get their Pokemon, one grunt said to his partner. I don't think so. Pikachu, Thunder Shock, Ash called. Pikachu let out a mighty electric attack which shocked the grunts into unconsciousness. The group then ran past the rocket members, down the steps, and into the engine room. The engine room looked like a regular maze. There were many different walkways and gears all over the place. They weren't expecting it to be this big. But then again, this was a very large ship they were in. Alright, we need to find that bomb fast. Let's go, Ash said as he turned to the rest, but found one was missing. Hey, where's Squirtle? It didn't run away, did it? I thought we had reached it, Ash said in a sad tone. Serena gave Ash a sympathetic look. You did all you could for it, Ash. If Squirtle still doesn't trust humans, it's not your fault. I know. I just wonder what's going to happen to it, Ash trailed. He then sighed. I hate to say it, but we'll have to worry about Squirtle later. We need to find that bomb. It will probably be in the back part of the room, Serena said. Let's go there. After running through the maze that was the engine room, the group rounded a corner and spotted the bomb at the very back, just as Serena had predicted. They then made a mad dash towards it, but someone stepped in their way before they could reach it. And it was someone Ash, Serena, and Pikachu were completely not expecting. Damien? They exclaimed, completely dumbfounded. Back in the main room, the rocket grunts were going to each person one by one to take their Pokeballs. If the person refused, Team Rocket simply reminded them of the bomb threat or use their vacuums to forcefully suck the Pokeballs from the trainers. As luck would have it, Misty and Brock had to have Jessie, James, and Meowth that were the ones to take their Pokemon. Well, it looks like we win this time. I'd like to see you twerps get out of this one, Jessie said with a smug look. You will hand over your Pokemon. We're in a pretty good mood today, so we won't hurt you if you hand them over immediately, James told them. Misty and Brock said nothing as they reluctantly handed over their Pokeballs. They knew Team Rocket was right. They were dead if they tried to resist. They could only hope Ash and Serena hadn't befallen the same fate. Well, look who it is, Damien smirked. Damien, what the heck are you doing with Team Rocket? Ash exclaimed. After you punks humiliated me, I came across 2 people named Jessie and James who hate you just as much as me. They promised I could have my revenge against you if I joined Team Rocket. Not to mention they told me I could achieve great things by joining their gang. It sounded like a good deal, Damien explained. Just when I thought you couldn't sink any lower, Ash scowled. Chill. Pikachu growled while sparking its cheeks. Shut up! I told you that you would regret messing with me, and now it's payback time. You will start by giving me your Pokemon. You still owe me Charmander after all, Damien said. We'll never give any of our Pokemon to you, Ash yelled. That's unfortunate, because I'll have to hurt you if you don't, Damien said in a dark tone as he reached for one of his Pokeballs. We'll just beat you like last time. Go, Pikachu! Ash told the rodent. Pikachu ran forward to attack, but Damien held up a device in his other hand, which immediately made everyone else stop in their tracks. It was the detonator to the bomb. I wouldn't make any hasty movements if I were you, Damien smirked. You wouldn't want me to accidentally press this button and blow us all up, would you? You're bluffing, Ash breathed in a heavy tone. If you detonate that bomb, it will kill you too. I think not, Damien replied. I happen to have a device to help me and my comrades get away just in time before the ship explodes. The same can't be said for you and the party guests. You're despicable, Serena scowled. You can call me what you like, but that doesn't change the fact that I have the upper hand here. If you don't give me your Pokemon immediately, I will order all my Pokemon to crush you two, Damien replied. Ash and Serena hesitated. There was absolutely nothing they could do right now. Hurry up! Hurry up, Damien urged. If I don't have all your Pokemon in my possession by the time I count the 10, I'm gonna take them by force and detonate the bomb anyway. You wouldn't, Ash and Serena gasped. I would, especially to you punks, Damien yelled back as he smirked again. Perhaps whenever I take back Charmander, I'm gonna torture it a little bit with my other Pokemon. That will teach it to defy the great Damien. Ash and Serena felt tears burn their eyes. They were told there was always at least some good in everyone, but Damien had certainly proved them wrong. Damien then began to slowly count the 10. When he saw Ash and Serena still weren't moving, he began to count louder for emphasis. Serena and Pikachu frantically looked at Ash to see if he had some sort of idea, but he was at a complete loss at what to do. It looked like this was the end, and there was nothing Ash could do about it unless he gave up his Pokemon to this crook. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Ash, Serena, and Pikachu saw a small turtle shell spiraling towards Damien from behind him. Damien was too occupied with who was in front of him to hear or notice the object coming closer to his head. The shell clonked Damien on the back of his head and rebounded onto the ground. Damien got a dazed look on his face and fell forward on the floor, knocked out. Ash, Serena, and Pikachu looked in amazement at that turtle shell on the ground. The shell began to stir, and the Pokemon that came out was none other than Squirtle. Squirtle! Ash and Serena exclaimed in happiness. Pikachu! Pikachu exclaimed with an equal amount of excitement. Squirtle! The turtle Pokemon replied, giving them a thumbs up. You saved us! Thank you. We thought you had left, but you showed us you really care, Ash said gratefully. The Squirtle smiled and nodded its head. Now, we just need to figure out how to defuse this bomb. There has to be a disarm switch on it somewhere, Serena said as she went over to the small device and began to search around it. We have to find it quickly before Team Rocket gets away, Ash said urgently. I know, Serena replied as she continued to look, but couldn't find anything. It's no good. It looks like we have to cut the wire. My Bulbasaur can handle that, Ash said as he released his Pokemon. Bulbasaur! the Pokemon cried as it looked at its trainer expectantly. Use your razor leaf to snap the wires on the bomb. Just be careful not to hit the bomb itself, Ash ordered. Bulbasaur then shot out a few razor-sharp leaves that cut through the wires cleanly, completely disarming it. Everyone let out a huge sigh of relief upon disarming it, but didn't allow it to last for long. Come on, we've got to save Brock, Misty, and the rest of the guests, Ash said as he and everyone else made their way back to the main room. Ash gave the unconscious Damien one last disgusted look before leaving the engine room. Where are our other team members at? Jesse wondered. They should have been here with the helicopters 10 minutes ago. It doesn't matter how long they take now, Jesse, James said. We've already got everyone's Pokemon. It's not like we're in a hurry anymore. This mission was a total success for once, and this time, there was no twerp with the Pikachu to ruin our plans. Right on cue, there was a loud thud on one of the double doors. Everyone turned in the direction at the loud noise. It then made a loud thud again. Meowth! What in the blazes is that noise? Meowth wondered aloud as the thud happened again. It wasn't before the double doors burst open and a Bulbasaur, 2 Charmanders, a Squirtle, a Pikachu, a Nidoran, a Jigglypuff, and an Oddish spilled into the room, followed by Ash and Serena. It's them! Jesse, James, and Meowth gasped in disbelief. I knew that it was suspicious that we didn't see those two here, Jesse growled. Everyone! Ash called into the room. We found the bomb and disarmed it. We've also called the Vermilion police who are on their way. You aren't in danger anymore. Let's get your Pokemon back. They did what? The Team Rocket trio screamed as they saw the party guests suddenly give them and the Team Rocket members angry glares. I think we better prepare for trouble, Jesse started. And make it double, James finished. Mass chaos suddenly broke out in the main room on the ship. The party guests immediately began to tackle any Team Rocket member they could to get their Pokeballs back. They were trying to fight back, but the party guests outnumbered the Rocket members by a long shot, making it impossible. This plan was going so well, Jessie exclaimed as she was trying to fight off the horde of people. The same twerps as always, of course, Meowth yelled. Such dreadful twerps, James agreed. It was then they heard the sound of helicopters above them and knew their teammates have arrived. Let's get out of here! Every person for themselves! Retreat! Jessie yelled as she, James, and Meowth struggled against the party guests. They then looked hard and found an opening where there weren't as many party guests. This way! Jessie motioned to her teammates as they rushed out of the room. A few Rocket grunts following suit after seeing the opening. Ash, Serena, and their Pokemon, having been reunited with Brock and Misty, saw Team Rocket escaping and chased after them. You guys aren't getting away! Ash hollered after them. The Twipe's chasing us! Meowth yelled to his teammates as they continued the dash towards the deck where the helicopters were waiting. Forget him! Let's just keep running! James shouted back. They soon burst onto the deck where they immediately saw rope ladders extended from the helicopters. They and the grunts that made it grabbed on as the rope ladder began to be pulled up. Don't wait for the ladder to be all the way up! Just go! The police and some brats are on our tails! Jessie hollered at the pilots. The group made it onto the deck just as the helicopters were pulling away. Ash grimaced once he saw the helicopters flying into the distance. Team Rocket had escaped. About 1 hour later, the group was standing in front of Officer Jenny by the St. Anne. Thank you very much for your heroic efforts, Officer Jenny said as she saluted them. Because of you, everyone was able to get their Pokeballs back, and we were able to arrest most of the Team Rocket members on the ship. We searched the engine room where you said a few were, but found no one. That means Damien was able to get away as well, Ash muttered. Come on, Ash. Don't you get it? You and Serena are real heroes right now, Brock told them. Thanks, but a lot of it was because of Squirtle, Ash said as he smiled down to it. Squirtle blushed and rubbed the back of its head nervously. Indeed, I will take the job of making sure Squirtle finds a good home, Officer Jenny said. Did you hear that, Squirtle? Officer Jenny will make sure you find the loving trainer you deserve, Ash told it. At this, Squirtle shook its head. It went over to Ash and pointed one of its fingers at him. You want me to be your trainer? Ash asked it, surprised, to which the Pokemon nodded. I think you'd be a great trainer for Squirtle, Serena said. You were the first one to gain its trust after all. Is that okay, Officer Jenny? Ash asked. I agree. You seem like the type of trainer who will treat Squirtle right, Officer Jenny smiled. All right, welcome to the group, Squirtle, Ash told it enthusiastically. Squirtle! It said as it removed its glasses. It then jumped into a hug from Ash. Looks like I caught a new Pokemon, Ash smiled. Choo, Pikachu agreed. That's hardly a catch, Ash, Misty said while rolling her eyes, but it was clear that she was happy too. I still got a new Pokemon all the same, Ash replied. He then looked at Squirtle. We're gonna make a great team, won't we? Squirtle, squirt! It responded happily.